Hi there, Andrew here from kwmwine.com. Today we're going to be doing a tasting blog on David Moret's Auxey Duresses 2018. So David Moret, first of all, is a small domain set up around the mid-90s. This guy didn't have any sort of family history of vineyard ownership in Burgundy. He sort of worked his way into vines and started working with some equipment providers, selling equipment to vignerons, and then started to get to know the top quality vignerons and was able to buy parcels of grapes from them and create his own small batch boutique bottle sort of burgundies, I suppose. He still does that today, expanded his portfolio a little bit, I suppose, but very much focused in and around the Côte d'Or and the wines of Meursault, Puligny Montrachet, Chassagne Montrachet, and Auxey Duresses. Now, Auxey Duresses is one of those domains within the Côte d'Or that most people probably won't have heard of. They'll have heard of Meursault and they'll have heard of Puligny Montrachet and places like that for top quality white burgundies. But Auxey Duresses is one of those sort of hidden gems and can offer exceptionally good value as far as Burgundy is concerned, I suppose. So this particular wine, 100% Chardonnay, as white Burgundy is, of course. David has a heavy use of oak in the wines, and when you smell these wines, first and foremost, it just takes you straight to Burgundy in terms of the style. That and Meursault more so. If you taste if you taste his Meursaults, for example, they just sort of stereotypical or atypical, stereotypical, sorry, white Burgundy where it's oak and fruit and just you want to drink these things. The Auxey Duresses is very much in that Meursault style, but sort of half the price. So it's a smart buy, I suppose, in that sense. So this here is barrel fermented. It's aged in barrel as well, and about 20% of which are new for about 12 months after fermentation. Malolactic goes in through barrel as well. What there is of it. So colour wise, it has got a sort of deeper colour, sort of slightly fuller bodied, as you might expect from these styles of Burgundy. There's a bit of more richness to the colour, and you can feel it almost as you move it around the glass, just that little bit of weight to it. It's the nose in this is just superb. Like, you get that ripe tropical fruit. You get a real peachiness to it. You get a sort of pineapple coming through. But one really distinctive flavour out of this wine is a slight sort of struck match note to it. Now, it may not appeal to everybody in that sense, but it's quite a classic sort of white burgundy note, that struck match. And if you think about sort of what is a struck match, is a piece of wood, the barrel, and the match end of it, I suppose, is the sulfur, and sulfur is required in winemaking for as a preservative. So you hear a lot of things in people talking about, oh, I don't want wine with sulfites, you don't want wine with sulfites. Well, 99% of wine have sulfites, and really they need to have them in order to preserve them to be a good quality product when you get to you, the consumer. And if you're really sensitive to sulfites, you'll definitely not want to eat raisins, because they've got like 500 times as much sulfites in them as what a bottle of wine does. So avoid those at all costs, as well as many other sort of fruits and vegetables and all sorts of things that you wouldn't ever expect sulfites to be in. They're there. Just wine seems to get it as a bad name. Oh, too much sulfites, give me a headache. Nonsense. It's just you drank too much of the wine, pretty much. I would imagine give you the headache. So anyway, back to the main thing. Sulfites or sulfur and struck match. That's where it's going to. So how do you get those flavours in a wine? I suppose barrel fermentation of Chardonnays and sort of white Bordeaux like Sauvignon, Semillon blends, you can get those struck match flavours. Sometimes it's more obvious than others. Sometimes winemakers will seek to try and avoid it. Sometimes they'll try and promote it. What it does do, I suppose, it tells you that the wine is made in I suppose, a reductive style as opposed to an oxidative style. So what does that mean? Reductive means that you're trying to avoid oxygen getting into the wine. So you're trying to preserve those fruit flavours. And when it's done really well, that struck match character coming through in the glass of wine will enhance those flavours, as it does in this particular glass. without actually masking them. So it comes in as a secondary sort of flavour profile as opposed to it. So initially you get those lovely sort of peachy tropical fruit flavours coming through. Then you get your sort of wafts of sort of New York and wood coming through, and then on the back of that you get those sort of struck match flavours. So it adds that layers of complexity that's the sort of thing you want to see in your glass of wine when you're spending a bit more money than maybe typically would like to spend, or a bit more money to get something better or more enjoyable. You want that complexity, and this is what this wine and this glass of wine offers. So, taste wise, immediately you get this sort of full bodied mouthfeel. You get sort of like an underripe pineapple sort of flavour coming through. You get lovely natural high acidity, just finishing it off, cleaning it out. Lovely balance to the wine, and then just that lovely palate coating flavour, which gets all cleaned out, and that sort of slight vanilla tone coming through from the wood at the finish. These are superb wines. David Moret is a superb white wine producer. If you like white Burgundy, definitely give them a go. You'll not be disappointed. Now, they are on the showy side, I would say, of white Burgundy. So if you like Puligny Montrachets, which tend to be a little bit more restrained, a bit more steely, this is maybe not that style. This is a bit more showy, a bit more upfront. This is the wine that in a room sticks his hand up and goes, "Look at me, you'll not forget me." And that's exactly how I came across this particular wine. Was at a big tasting, and having tasted 200-300 bottles of wine in an afternoon, this was the one that stood out at the end of it. Just going, wow, that was such an amazing bottle of wine. And here we go, it's here. 40 quid a bottle, so it's not cheap by normal standards, but it's not expensive by Burgundy standards. So it's a smart buy, so the smart money goes. Auxey Duresses, it's a commune you're not going to probably know much about, but it's right next door to Merceau, and that's all you need to know. Very much in that style. Taste it blind, you'd think it's a Merceau, no doubt about it. Beautiful wine, beautiful producer. If you like white Burgundy, don't miss out. So yeah, David Moret's Auxey Duresses 2018. I can't talk highly enough about this wine. Really, really love it. So there you go. KWNwine.com. Place where taste matters. Cheers.